Alright then, and hello. My name is Ultimate Gomi, and for my first video on this MMA channel of mine, I thought no video would be better than to do my pound for pound list of the current mixed martial artists underneath the UFC roster. So during this video, I'm going to be going over that, my top 15 pound for pound, because I do have disagreements with the UFC's pound for pound list. First rule, I will specify first and foremost, these will not include fighters who haven't fought in a year or more. So basically 2 fighters that I feel a lot of people are going to expect to be on this list, which I will not put on this list, is going to be Jon Jones and Stipe Miocic. They haven't fought in over a year. Stipe's last fight was February of 2021, I believe, and Jones was back in 2019. So yeah, they're not going to be on this list. So here on screen is going to be the UFC's current pound for pound list. I did notice they actually made a change since I literally just last looked at the list, which they did put Robert Whittaker on the list, which is nice. So, starting off this list, my rank 15 in terms of the pound for pound is going to be Colby Chaos Covington. Now, I know this is immediately going to be a controversial pick because of the common stipulation that Colby Covington does not fight top-ranked opponents. Yeah, you're kind of right for the most part, but the thing is, if we look at who I would exclude off the list or who I would put on the list instead, I can't really think of anyone. You cannot deny Colby Covington is one of the best welterweights currently out there, his only losses being basically to Usman, the former pound for pound. His wrestling is dominant, his skills are dominant, but he is in the most fringe spot in this list. Absolutely, I can see myself booting him off this list for another contender on the come up. Give, say, like Islam Makhachev a few more wins. Give someone like, say, Hamzat a few more wins. I could easily see him get booted off this list. But as of right now, I'm going to place him at number 15. Now at 14, we're going to have Max Blessed Holloway. Max Holloway is an absolute phenomenal fighter. He has the record for most strikes thrown in a fight and a record for most strikes thrown overall in the UFC. He is a volume striker and he does an excellent job of making these guys look bad. But we now have to reverse that. He has the most strikes absorbed in the UFC. You see those 7 losses? 3 of which are to another fighter on this list, Alexander Volkanovski. We can't get over that. Max Holloway has put on some masterful performances. Like, his fights against Ortega and Kattar are what really submit him on this list. He's kind of like a second running in division. Like, I genuinely do feel that Max is levels above everyone else in the featherweight division other than the current champion. But the problem is, that's not gonna last much longer. Even though he's very young, oh my god, he's aged so much in that ring for the amount of damage he's taken. Especially looking at him in that last Volkanovski fight, how he wasn't knocked out, I'll never know. But the fact remains, I don't see a bright future for Blessed Holloway in featherweight. I don't think, like, if he goes up to lightweight, kind of like how he did for the interim strap, I feel the fight will go the same way. He's going to run into someone big and powerful like Dustin Poirier, or extremely amazing in terms of wrestling like Oliveira, Islam Makhachev, if you were to move up to lightweight. His future is in fun fights. Give him a Conor McGregor fight. But as of right now, he's still done amazing things for sport. He's still an amazing fighter. Rank 14. Next on the list is going to be Dustin the Diamond Poirier. Dustin is a phenomenal fighter, and he's a fighter a lot of people disagree with being on the pound for pound list, but those people are just absolutely overlooking his resume and the people he's fought. Justin Gaethje, Dan Hooker, Conor McGregor, Max Holloway also on this list, both lists. Dustin Poirier is a phenomenal fighter. He is one of the best strikers, The problem is his jiu-jitsu game has really withered away, and it shows. Like, he hasn't really used it as much, and that's been the crutch. That's been why he's been losing his fights against whoever's number one. That's his problem. He goes up against Habib or he goes up against Oliveira and they beat him. Simple as that. But as of right now, Dustin, I feel, belongs on that pound for pound list. I feel he's the eternal number 2 in that division, but he still has a chance. He still has a chance. And that's saying a lot, being in the most stacked and highest end division in the sport, which is the lightweight division. All right, and number 12, Piotr No Mercy Yan. Piotr Yan is the former bantamweight champion, as I'm sure you know. He's currently number 1 in the division, and he's fighting Sean O'Malley next, which I find hilarious. But regardless, Piotr Yan, this is going to be controversial, but I think he's the best fighter in the bantamweight division. But you're going to sit there and go, wait, he's lost to the champion twice. He lost by disqualification in the first fight. Fine, fair enough, cool, who cares? The second fight, it was a very close fight, but he did get, quotation marks, dominated in the wrestling. AKA, Aljo just stayed on his back and threw up some very haphazard submission attempts. I personally think Piotr Yan won that fight, but regardless, he didn't. That's the thing, he didn't. I'm going to place him still so high on the list because his striking is phenomenal. He's probably one of the best strikers up there with Alexander Volkanovski and Israel Adesanya. So that's why I'm going to place him on this pound for pound list. I think he beats anyone in that division. Honestly, even if he were to rematch Aljamain Sterling, I feel he would analyze where he went wrong, and I feel he'd be able to get the job done. His main problem is he's just such a slow starter. He always just loves handing out rounds 1 and 2 on a silver platter, just letting his opponent eat that up and get those free points. Regardless, Piotr Yan, rank 12. Alright, next we're going to have Brandon Moreno, the Assassin Baby. Not a fan of that name. He is going to be the interim champion for the flyweight division. Now, why is he on this list and why is he low or high on this list? He's the interim champion, so I felt obligated to put him on there, and he is a very good fighter. He is the former champion as well. But basically, him and Figueiredo have been playing a little bit of a round robin this entire time. I'm not super impressed with that. I really wish we get to see more blood from the two of them. Thankfully, we got to see Brandon Moreno against Kai Kara-France, and he did very good in that fight. But Kai Kara-France also had a lot of success in that fight as well too, which is why I kind of dipped him a little bit down. Honestly, I had him and Figueiredo neck and neck on this list. But I had to drop him down just a little bit from what we saw in the Kai Kara-France fight. I still think he's a really good fighter. I still think he has a chance to get the title back from Figueiredo. I'm not sure how that fight goes, but regardless, rank 11, going to be Brandon Moreno. All right, and now we are at the top 10 list. These are the top 10 best pound for pound fighters, in my opinion, in the UFC. Also, my opinion is law, is instantly correct. But yes, we have Robert the Reaper Whittaker. I know a lot of people are going to be happy with me putting him this high on the list, which I feel he deserves it, to be honest with you. He is the best fighter at the middleweight division other than the champion. Now, granted, the middleweight division is probably the weakest it's been in a long time. Probably some of the weakest it's ever been, but that's just due to the fact that number 1 and number 2 are so dominant. They're so good. They just destroy all the competition. Whittaker, before he got his second crack against Izzy, he had taken out Kelvin Gastelum, Darren Till. When he got his first crack, he took out Romero twice. One of those was a close fight. And then now just recently, he took out Marvin Vettori. What's next for this guy? He's going to fight Hamzat Chimaev, or he's going to fight Apollo Costa next. And I feel he's going to win those fights. I feel he beats everyone but Israel. And I'm going to... Now I'll lose fans here with this point. He lost both fights, Izzy. We know he lost the first one, he got knocked out. But the second fight, a lot of people want to say, oh, it was a close fight, oh, it was a robbery. Whitaker lost that very much clearly. I'm sorry. He didn't throw his right hand at all in that fight. He just refused to use his right hand, and yeah, I'm sorry. Rank 10, Robert Whitaker. All right, and we're on to, and I will be perfectly forthcoming, my least favorite fighter on this list. I am not a fan of Aljamain Sterling, but regardless, he is number 9 on my list. He is the current bantamweight champion, and I find bantamweight to be the second most stacked division. I feel it's really going to be lightweight, and then it's going to be bantamweight. My problems with him is not his skill, but just how he handled the second Jan fight. We didn't see much. We did not see insanely good skill set from him. All we really saw from him is he just backpacked him. The fact that he's able to do that to a guy like Petr Yan is really good. That showcases his skills. And yeah, he was able to take out Corey Sandhagen immensely fast. Another really good fighter. I don't know. I just feel like we haven't seen a lot from him. I feel like he hasn't impressed me, and I just did not like how he handled the on fights. But I do think he beats his next opponent, which is TJ Dillashaw, and he'll probably get bumped up on my list from that. So, rank of 9, Aljamain Sterling. Pound for pound, headshot dead. My boy, Leon Rocky Edwards. His knockout of Kamaru Usman is the greatest knockout in UFC history. The ones that come close would be Conor McGregor's knockout of Jose Aldo, and then Holly Holm's knockout of Ronda Rousey. But the thing is, of all those fights, there were flash knockouts, insane, out of nowhere, yes. But Edwards was getting destroyed the whole fight, and he found the perfect shot. Not a lucky shot, perfect shot. You can tell by his fact that he threw no follow-up. He saw the shot, he knew he won, he walked away. But that leads us into the point of the fact that he was dominating the whole fight, and that's why I have to put him a lot lower on this list. But he is the current welterweight champion. The welterweight division is very stacked right now, so that says a lot. And he's on an insane win streak. Insane. So that's why he is going to be my number 8 pound for pound fighter. Rank 8, Leon Rocky Edwards. Alright, and then at number 7, we're going to have Deiveson Figueiredo. Deiveson Figueiredo is the flyweight champion. He's probably the hardest hitting flyweight we've ever seen, and the flyweight division is on the come up, but most of the complaints I have about him I also vocalize in the Moreno listing. I want to see him against more blood, but we have seen a lot of him. We have seen a lot of his fights. He can knock you out or submit you, as seen by the stats on the screen. So yeah, I'm going to place him at 7. I don't have a whole ton to say about him other than he's an amazing fighter, simple as that. Who wins in his 4th fight against Brandon Moreno? Again, it's a hard one, but the problem with him actually is his inability to properly make weight. He's too big for that division, so I don't know how that's gonna go. It honestly just all depends on his weight. That's what it depends on. But yeah, amazing fighter. I'm probably gonna lean towards Figueiredo. Rank 7, Deiveson Figueiredo. You ever watch a Jiri Prochazka fight? It is pure violence. Jiri Prochazka, rank 6 on my pound for pound list. He is the current light heavyweight champion. He got fast tracked to where he's at, but he deserved it and he proved it. He is a brawler. His problem is he is nothing but a brawler. He is the epitome of a just bleed fighter, up there with Justin Gaethje. I feel those are two most violent fighters in division, win or lose. Jiri Prochazka just knocks people out. 25 wins by knockout. 23 first round finishes. And his fight against Glover Teixeira is the best fight of the year. It has to be. It's the best fight we've had this year. It was an amazing, amazing war. And the fact that he was able to win by submission, I believe that is either his first or second win by submission. This man does not submit people, but that's the thing. He saw his opportunity to win and he took it. He seized it. And that is such a defining trait for a pound-for-pound top fighter. But the thing is, he was going to lose that fight, which is why I'm putting him a little bit lower on this list. But make no mistake, I feel he's going to win his next couple fights. I feel his next fight's going to be the Glover fight. I would have much preferred the Jan Blachowicz fight, to be honest with you, because Glover was not a long-standing champion who did get finished. Yes, he was winning, but he got finished in his first title fight. Give it to the former champion after him. Give it to Jan Blachowicz, who won a fight. But regardless, Jiří Procházka, rank 6. Do not miss this man's fights. So now we are in the pound-for-pound top 5. Here's where I feel I don't have to do as much explaining because most people's lists are going to be relatively similar. Number 5, I'm going to put Francis Ngannou. The hardest hitter in the world, hardest hitter in the division, the baddest man on the planet, 6 fight win streak, 12 by knockout, 4 by submission. I read that stat, I was very surprised. But yes, Francis Ngannou, ever since he got the title from Stipe, he is now a different fighter. He's not just a striker. He's shown great takedown defense against his fight against Stipe, and he's shown great fight IQ by deciding, oh, I can't hit Cyril Gane? Okay, then I'm going to wrestle him. But his wrestling was just lay and pray. Did not really do much, was not impressive. The fact that he was able to get those takedowns were very impressive. But then he didn't do much with them. But regardless, I feel as he is a complete fighter and could beat everyone in that division, but that's the thing. Very invasive surgery after the Cyril Gane fight. Heavyweights, them knee surgeries, the MCL, ACL, whatever it is, it doesn't sit well with heavyweights. Having 260, 270, 280 pounds bouncing on that weak cartilage, I don't know how he's gonna come back. I don't know if he's even gonna come back, but regardless, as of right now, rank 5, Francis the Predator Ngannou. Alright, and now at rank 4, we are going to have Charles do Bronx Oliveira. I hate do Bronx. Why do I hate do Bronx? Because he's too good, and he's taken out all of my favorite lightweights. He's beaten Dustin, he's beaten Tony, he's beaten Justin, which I actually saw that fight live. I was screaming at the top of my lungs praying for Justin to win. We know how that fight went. Charles do Bronx Oliveira, most finishes in UFC, 21 staggering wins by submission, an 11 fight win streak, 9 wins by knockout. Yeah, this guy's the real deal. I don't want to hear anything about he's a quitter, all that. Ignore it, get it out of your mindset. He's too good. He's extremely good. I do feel he's beatable though. I feel he's beatable. He's shown awful striking defense, but his striking's really good. And his submissions, he's the best submission artist. Best BJJ in all of the UFC by far. He is a fearsome fighter, and even though he's not the lightweight champion, let's be honest, he's the lightweight champion. He missed weight by 5 pounds. Regardless, yes, rank 4, Charles Oliveira. And now, on to 3. Kamaru the Nigerian Nightmare Usman, the former pound for pound, the former welterweight champion. I've seen a lot of people putting him underneath Charles Oliveira and a lot of people putting him under Francis Ngannou. Why? He lost, yes, to Leon Edwards, but he won virtually the whole fight. He lost to Leon Edwards due to a perfect shot at the end of the 5th round. We going to ignore the fact that he cleared out almost the entire division besides that? We should not. We should not. Kamaru Usman is still number 3 in my eyes. He just gets booted down from number 1. I still think he's above Leon Edwards until we see that rematch. Edwards beats him, then yeah, we're gonna bump him way the hell down, but we're not gonna bump him off the list. He's done too much. He's beaten too many people. He's too skilled. stop telling yourself that he's not still the number 3 pound for pound. He's definitely still top 3. But I will say though, I was not a fan of how he fought Edwards. He fought him very boringly. Like, he really did not put on the offense or the pressure. He said he was searching for the finish. I do not believe that. But then again, I'm also not a fighter. I'm just a trash can. Regardless, rank 3, Kamaru Usman. Number 2, the last style bender, Israel Adesanya. My favorite fighter in UFC. You're probably shocked at that. I know you are. Because a lot of people, because to be honest with you, his title reign has not been super exciting. Only one finishes title reign against Paulo Costa. But you see those stats right there? You see those? 15 wins by knockout, my good sir. 15 wins by knockout. Almost double the wins he has in knockouts compared to decisions. Yes. His title reign has not been boring, but you cannot say it's dominant. I've seen people want to put Charles Oliveira above him. Why? Israel's reign has been dominant. Not exciting, but dominant. A lot of people are thinking that Pereira is going to be the one to take him down. I don't think so. I think Izzy's going to retain it. I think his next loss, if there is one, is going to be at light heavyweight. I feel he's going to go up there and want to go for that Yuri Prohaska fight, which would be such a good fight. But yes, Israel's problem and why he has such a boring title reign is because he's a pure counter striker, and these people just do not want to stand and trade with him. They've walked that. They've watched it. They watch what happens when you decide to fight him. You end up like the first Whitaker fight, and you end up like the Kelvin Gastelum fight, and you end up like the Paulo Costa fight. Izzy is the man. He is the number 2 pound for pound. Honestly, after his upcoming fight against Pereira, I might want to bump him up to number 1. But he's not. Rank 2, Israel Adesanya. Alright then, you've made it to the end of the video. The number 1 pound for pound, the number 1 ranked pound for pound fighter in all of the UFC, and this is just an adamantium fact, is going to be Bilal, remember the name Muhammad. Who in the welterweight division, other than Kamaru Usman, has as many top 10 victories as this man? Look at this man. 21 wins, 5 finishes. Because he doesn't go for the finish. He tortures his opponents. He plays with them. He mentally destroys them. He crushes their spirits, and then he goes for that decision. Bilal, remember the decision, Muhammad. I can't continue with this bit. It's a joke. That's a joke. I'm sorry. The real number 1 pound for pound is going to be Alexander the Great Volkanovski. I gotta say, on his come up, I was not a huge fan of him, but he's really won me over. These last couple title defenses have been amazing. He's on a 22 fight win streak. He is the champion of the featherweight division. Granted, yes, I feel he lost the second Max Holloway fight. I do believe that. He didn't, but regardless. But he didn't lose the first and then the third. He won those very clearly. To dominate a guy like Max like he did in that third fight was just, that's what really just jumped him up to, well, number 2. Jumped up to number 1 was that Usman loss. Oh my god. And honestly, he has a very, very high chance of becoming a double champion. He really can. I think he has what it takes to beat Charles Oliveira and Islam Makhachev. I'm not saying he's gonna beat him, I'm not saying it's guaranteed, but I think there's a possibility. So that's why I'm going to currently right now have him as 1. If Israel beats Pereira in a very decisive fashion, I could see myself bumping up Israel. But if Volkanovski, if he gets that double champion status in featherweight and the most stacked division in the sport, the lightweight division, he is by far pound for pound number 1 and one of the greatest of all time. He's already getting there. Alright then guys, and here's going to be my final list as follows. Thank you so much for watching the video. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Hey, I'm seeming like a YouTuber. And be sure to be on the lookout for any other MMA news that I might be posting in the future. I'm probably going to start analyzing cards as well too and giving my thoughts and who I feel is going to win these upcoming fights. I sure as hell will be doing it for UFC 280. And thank you so much for watching. Bye-bye.